happy 2021. I know it's been a while since my last video, like a while. Sorry about that. But it's a new year and I'm happy to hopefully have a better posting schedule. Long story short, around the end of last year, I got a new job at a tech company here in the Bay Area, and even though I've been really enjoying it, it's definitely been taking up a lot of my time recently. To be honest, most of 2020 was not a great year for a lot of us, from the pandemic to all of the injustices happening in our country, to losing my job and losing motivation. I was just over it by the end of the year and ready for a fresh start. And even though I know things won't be back to normal right away, I still am hopeful that this year will be better than the last. I'm also usually not the one to make New Year's resolutions. I stopped making them a long time ago because I tend to forget about them and just give up after a few months. I think last year I made a list of a few things and really only achieved 1 or 2 things on that list. But I still think it's always good to set some goals for yourself so that you can devote time to working towards things that matter to you, whether it's big or small. So here are the 3 resolutions, or more so goals, that I have for 2021. So this is really specific, but I decided that one of the things that I wanted to try and attempt to do this year was have a dairy-free diet. I tried cutting out carbs or red meat before, and it really only lasted no more than 2 weeks. But after thinking about it, I realized that I don't really consume a lot of dairy products to begin with, mainly just cheese and sweets, so I figured this might be the easiest food group to take out of my diet. There's also a lot of benefits to going dairy-free, like helping to improve your skin, digestion, and even weight loss. But I'm mainly just doing it more so as a challenge for myself. I noticed that at the end of last year, I was really consuming a lot of dairy, especially cheese and chocolate, and realized that I was not feeling the best, was very bloated, and unfortunately, I even gained some weight. So I've been doing this since the first, and the last few days I've been experimenting with finding a lot of new dairy-free alternatives from places like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or even Safeway. And I was actually really surprised because I found a lot of new vegan products that basically tasted like the same thing. Right now, I'm obsessed with Violife's dairy-free cream cheese. It tastes almost like the real thing, and I ate it every day last week on a bagel or on this vegan croissant bread that my parents found me. I'm also really big on sweets like chocolate, and my coworker suggested this dairy-free rice milk chocolate bar, and I've been obsessed with them ever since. Whole Foods also has a great selection of vegan cookies, so I've been experimenting with different brands to see which one I like so far. Also, my favorite non-dairy yogurt is by this brand, So Delicious. My favorite flavors are mango and spiced pear, and it's made with an oat milk base. I really like it because it's not too sweet and it feels very light when you eat it. And when I first discovered it, I loved it so much that I ate it for breakfast 3 weeks in a row. I think that my biggest struggle will have to be researching dairy-free goods like cakes or pastries because I really love desserts. I also think that I'm going to have to start getting used to checking the nutrition labels on my groceries and on food that I order when I eat out, because I found out that there are some things I didn't think would have dairy, but they actually do have it. If I took a look at my Google searches this past week, it's probably full of things like, does so-and-so contain dairy, or is so-and-so dairy-free? So these first few months will definitely be me doing a lot more research on how to take on this goal, but hopefully as the year goes on, I'll get more used to it and then have a dairy-free diet. So this is a very broad and general resolution that I have, but I really want to be more consistent in all aspects of my life. I found that by the end of last year, I was really wasting my time doing a whole bunch of nothing, like scrolling on TikTok or watching K-dramas. I fell off with a lot of habits that I enjoyed doing, like working out, reading, and journaling. And once I stopped doing it for a few days, it was really hard for me to pick it back up. So I really do want to focus on being more consistent with these habits and to not put a lot of pressure on myself to feel like that I have to do them, and that if I don't, then I should just quit altogether. I started to journal again, and I really enjoy it because I do like to reflect at the end of my days. What made me stop is that when I would have a bad day, then I just wouldn't journal because for some reason I thought it would make me feel worse. But I'm making a goal to try and journal every day, whether it's a long or a short entry. I also started reading again. Right now I'm rereading the Harry Potter series, and if you don't know, I am a huge Harry Potter fan. It was my childhood, and I thought that choosing this series would be a good way to start the new year. When I tried picking up reading last year, it was with a lot of self-help books, and I just hated it because I realized it's just not the genre for me. I hated feeling that reading felt more like a chore or a burden rather than something that I actually enjoyed. So since starting last week, I'm actually almost done with the book, and I found that since I chose a book that I knew I was going to enjoy, I really actually look forward to those 30 minutes I read before I go to sleep. I think exercising and posting more on this YouTube channel are other things that I want to be more consistent with this year, and I feel like last year I would keep up with them for at most a few weeks at a time before I fell off. So this year I really want to focus on the idea of having a more consistent lifestyle so that little by little over time it becomes a natural habit in my daily life. To help me with this, I'm using Notion, which is a digital workspace that I started using last year to help plan almost everything about my life. And there I have a daily habit tracker that I use that helps me stay on top of all my habits, like waking up by 8, making sure I drink enough water, journaling, reading, etc. So hopefully that will help keep me accountable this year and help me make my life feel a little more consistent. So this goal is something that I've always had in the back of my mind, and I'm very aware that I hold myself back a lot. It's very evident to me back when I was in college, to post-grad life, and even now with this whole YouTube/social media journey. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I am a perfectionist. Perfectionists are people who are very critical, have unrealistic standards, procrastinate, and get depressed with unmet goals. And that describes me 100%. Even though I got a new job and I said I was busy with work, I still tried to film here and there. I probably have a bunch of footage from last year of me trying to film those videos. But in reality, this is still very new to me, and speaking in front of a camera is still very, very uncomfortable for me. Every filming attempt I had, I would just get frustrated and would cry and would just give up for the day, and then eventually all those days turned into weeks. And even though that I know I'm very capable of doing a lot of things, it would just be that voice, my voice in the back of my head, that would keep me from starting to do all those things that I wanted to, because in my head I just wasn't good enough. So aside from those concrete goals like giving up dairy or reading or exercising more, I ultimately really just want to be kinder to myself and have more confidence in my abilities while not holding myself to such high standards. I definitely think I did a lot of that in 2020 and just ended my year with very low self-esteem, no motivation, and just feeling like a failure in my eyes. And the cause wasn't because of the things that I did do, but more so of the things that I didn't do. So I want to take little steps this year in making sure that I have a better mindset for when it comes to how I see myself, so that I don't continue down this path of holding myself back from things that I really want to do. So those were my 3 small but hopefully achievable resolutions for 2021. Hopefully I'll be able to stay on top of them, and if any of my friends see me outside of this, please try to keep me accountable. Let me know in the comments of any resolutions you might have this year. Also make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Until then, see you soon. Bye! Oh, thank God. That was so hard.